Yeah, so I just restarted my phone pretty quick. Let's see. Hi, Anirudh. So I'm sending you a request again.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. I cannot still see you. There's something wrong. I don't know what's
I
happening
can
today.
I can see you, dude. I can see you. It's. You'll have to. I guess you'll have to Stevie Wonder this interview.
Okay. I don't know how it's going to turn out when it's going to the IGTV.
Yeah. I mean, I guess everyone else can see us, right?
Yeah, guys, can you guys see both of us?
Yeah. All four of you. Can you see both of us? Make that 5.
Yeah. I can agree.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Yes.
okay, fine, cool. All
All
right,
right.
so I don't know what's going on.
Blind leading
Uh,
the blind, bro. Let's go.
all right, let's go. So, bro, thank you for joining in. It's such a
Thank you for
pleasure to
having
have
me.
you.
Thank you. Thank
Cool,
you for having
awesome,
me.
great. Well, I'm like talking to myself right here. I can see only myself, anyways.
It's fine.
So,
My voice will
well,
guide you.
yeah, sure. Cool. It's like a radio talk right now. Cool. Anyways,
Yeah.
let's start this with a little guitar jam, and we'll see how this works.
Sure. Sure. I hope
Cool.
my guitar is audible, yeah?
Just play something, bro. Yeah,
No?
when the riffs are on, I mean, it's kind of a little muddy, but I think the solos will cut through.
Okay, let's hope so.
Can you hear my guitar?
Yep. It's dying a little bit, but it's fine. I can get that.
Shall I increase or decrease the volume? What do you think?
Just take it up a little bit. I think the phone's gate is kicking in.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
All right, so
Yep. All good.
all right, here we go.
Oh, hang on one second. Sorry. As usual, I'm on the wrong patch. 1 second. One
Okay.
second. I hope you could hear that. Oh, dude, I think I saw smoke from your fretboard.
Damn. Cool.
Super.
So, yeah, bro. So that was a fantastic jam, anyways. Killer licks. Man,
Super.
if I could see this, if I could just see those, man. What's wrong? You know what it's
I
saying
have
here?
no
It
idea.
says waiting for Premik Jolly. I don't know why.
Uh,
All right.
it-
Anyways, cool.
okay, let's go.
Right. So So, brother, can you take us back and share a little about your story and how you got into this? I mean, from the guitars to electronic music and all these things.
Okay, yeah. So basically, it kicked off when I was like really young. So
Okay.
I mean, back in the day when we didn't have cable, we had DD, we had Doordarshan, right? Like
Right.
and it would go off air at about 9:30, 10.
Hmm.
So I still remember, like when I was small, when I was growing up, when I was little. We had Saturdays or Fridays, I'm not sure, one of those days, or maybe even Sundays. They would sign off with a band playing, like and they'd show old 80s videos. I mean, it's old 80s videos now, but I'm an 80s
Yes.
kid, so they would play like whatever was popular in America. They just play like a couple of songs before going off air, like videos, like
Yes.
and stuff. And I was watching that, and I saw the long hair, and I saw the leather, and I saw the spandex, and I was like, shit, I want to do this. Like that's I think I want to do this. Like I think yeah, I want to do this. This is it. And that
Right.
kind of like got me going into like, okay, fine, how do we go about this now? And obviously I need to learn how to play the guitar and everything. And I was 6 or something like that. And I think by the time I was 7, finally we just got me a guitar and an acoustic, and obviously I didn't know how to play. And I was lucky enough to be a neighbor to a lot of church going people. So I would, like, on Sundays and weekends, I would go and check out Sunday service because I heard music coming from there, and I was like, wow, what is this, like, and then I went there and I saw people playing, and I got friendly with them, and he was my neighbor. And he had a band in college, and he was in college, and I was still like 7 years old. And then I
Okay.
would just go there with my acoustic and sit down, and I would just watch, like
Okay.
and I just taught myself how to play by just watching and just using my ears, because back then, I mean, we didn't have the internet, right? So
Yeah.
yeah, we had books, like horrible books, okay, and yeah, so and that's it. And then I never took formal lessons. I was like totally self-taught, and that's how it
Oh.
started. Like, that's how I started getting into guitars, and I always had this thing for heavy music right from the get-go.
Right.
There was no pop. Oh no! Oh, nursery rhymes, no. So I mean, I went to a school where this guitar teacher was like, okay, this is how you play Happy Birthday. And I left after about half an hour, and I gave him the chords to Hotel California, before I left. So yeah, that's my
All right.
story. Yeah.
Cool. So, tell us about the guitars that you have, and which was your first guitar that you had?
Okay, this is going to be really silly. Okay, now apart from those busted acoustics, the first real electric guitar that I bought, I think I was like about 9 or 10. I'm not too sure. Yeah, I was about 9 or 10, and it was from Furtado's in Bombay. I was like walking around with my grandfather, and I just pointed out to one, and I got one of those. That
Oh,
one of those. I want to be a Strat when I grow up copies. So I got that from Furtado's, and it was a Gibtone. All right.
okay, don't.
Yeah, Gibtone. Very, very familiar sounding, because now you have Gibson. Okay.
Yes.
So, that was like my first electric, and then slowly upgraded, and that's the story. But I wouldn't call that like a proper guitar. I mean, I don't think it had a
Right.
truss rod also. The neck had a mind of its own. It was like artificial intelligence before artificial intelligence.
Right. So, okay, let's talk about the guitars that you have right now.
Oh yeah, okay. I'm so sorry you can't see this, but you're missing out, dude. Okay, anyway,
Yeah.
so at least
I hope
everyone in the
this is
chat can
available
see
on.
it. Okay,
Yeah,
so you better
later on.
save
I
this.
hope. Yeah,
Go watch it on another
definitely.
phone. You can do that. You can watch it on another phone.
Yeah,
Okay, so
let's see if I can actually.
yeah,
Uh,
do it on another phone.
yeah. So yeah, please, you can carry on. I'll just I'll
Okay,
listen to you, anyways.
you're gonna miss it anyway. You can come to the studio and hang out, so that's okay. Okay, so this is my most recent acquisition. It is an RG, and I hate the way Ibanese name their guitars because it's a love story. AHMG, CMNG, NG, NG, BNG. They put like a lot of letters in there. for a sweet deal, and it's got this blue burst thing going on. And so far, this has been really nice. Like, I mean, it's just been nice. I think this piece in particular. And then we're going to move on out to my tracking room over here. And this one is a monster. This one is BC Rich limited
Yeah.
edition skull pile. That's what it looks like. This is a flying V, and it's got like skulls on it and stuff. And yeah, it's insane.
Yes,
Yeah, very,
sorry to interrupt. I think the first guitar that you talked about, Ibanez, is the one with the blue burst. I think you used it pretty much in BAJAOW shows, isn't it?
yes. I bought it for a reason.
Yes, yes.
The way I buy guitars is for tunings.
Okay.
I buy a guitar and I spec it up and I adjust it and I tune it to one pitch for that purpose. So Bajao plays on standard E, and
Okay.
whenever they have to drop D, then I get my telly out anyway. But yeah, so I buy guitars for purposes. So yeah. So anyway, back to the tour that you can't see. Yay! Okay, so
I I think I
so
can
this is the
I I think I remember the flying V with the skulls, which has I think
yes.
it has some color red by the end of the edge.
Yes.
You know?
It's got
Yeah,
flames. It's
yeah,
got
yeah,
these
yeah.
flames right at the end. Look at that. Look at that.
Yes,
It's like
yes.
skulls burning in hell, dude. Oh my god. That's why I bought it. Okay. Anyway, if you want to be a chick magnet, don't buy this guitar. Chicks hate it.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, so getting back, this is my Ibanez Iron Label baritone. This one is. This one also a very impulsive buy, but I'm very happy I bought it. I bought it for the studio because most of the guys who are coming to record with me don't. I mean, they don't understand a thing about scale length, like and how a larger scale length will actually help you with your string tension and give you better intonation and better sound. So I primarily bought this as a tool for the studio because all these guys were coming and they were playing in drop C and drop A and down tuning. So this was like really helpful for that. And it's got the
Yeah.
Van Halen stickers that I put on. It looks like a Van Halen Frankenstein sticker job done on
Yeah, yeah,
it.
yeah.
So
Yeah,
yeah, so
I see our
I'm
friends. I see our friends saying Eddie is missing it, but I know all the guitars you're talking about. I saw that.
yeah, yeah. I'll send you pictures, Eddie, later. Don't worry. I know you're missing
Yeah,
out.
yeah.
Okay, and then going next, I have another Ibanez Iron Label. This one is one of my favorites because it's just a mean ass guitar. No bullshit, no nonsense. It's a Iron Label, normal six string. That's it. And I've got some custom Anarchy logo over here. I've got bat inlays, just so that I feel better at night when I sleep. That's it. And that's the Iron Label. And then my first proper electric guitar. This one is a Washburn. I don't know which one, but I had a Thundercats. All you 80s guys who like cartoons, I got a Thundercats paint job done on it. And this guitar actually belonged to a guitar player called Fubi from Millennium. So I
Okay.
bought it off him back in the 90s. Yeah, 90s is a thing now. All right, so that's the Washburn, and then we have a cool guitar that I got from a friend of mine, which was stuck somewhere for a long time, and then I bought it. It's a Cherry Telecaster. It's just a Tele, and I kind of
Yes.
hot rodded it. I put some DiMaggio Evolution Ibanez gem pickups in it, and it sounds
Oh.
ridiculously high gain. So I love it. Like yeah.
Yeah,
So
D marshals are pretty cool actually.
yeah, especially the Evolution ones. The Evolution one is more hotter than the recent Evolution twos. Like
Okay.
Yeah. So that's the guitars I have right now, and yeah, I have my wish list is bigger, by the way. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I can see that. Yes.
Yeah. So yeah.
Cool. Let's talk about how you got into electronic music. How did it all start for you?
Okay, so what I mean, I was doing all this stuff like parallelly, right? I was like playing
Yes.
metal, and I was playing. I mean, by the time I was like seven, I think I was in sixth or seventh standard. I had a band in my school, and we were doing gigs on stage and stuff like that. Who is Mr. Hendrickson? I want Iron Priest. Okay, anyway, okay, there you
Yes.
go. Both of
Yeah.
them in two separate rooms with a shower on. All right, excellent. So yeah, I was doing like this whole metal and rock thing, and and I'd always like Sundays in my house. Every Sunday was my family is like my especially my uncle and my dad was music listening day. Like they'd have friends over, and of course they had a couple of drinks and some lunch going on and everything, and
Yes.
we had a really cool music system, and they'd blast music and so Sundays was the day that we got to listen to a lot of music.
Right.
And also Sunday was my favorite day because growing up my dad and my uncle would take me to, I don't know, HMV House. It's the Hard Rock Cafe now. um, but HMV House was there, and Sunday was my favorite day because I get to buy any amount of tapes that I wanted. They'll be like, okay, you take your basket and you go and you pick up whatever you want. And I used to look at album covers, I mean, that's the way you used to. I mean, you're a kid, you look at the cover, the cover
Yes.
looks cool,
Yes.
and you go buy that and you see if you hit a jackpot or you feel bad. So, so I came across a lot of these psychedelic looking covers and stuff like that, and that's how I got into electronic music. I think I picked up some early Goa trance kind of tapes from Goa Gill and Astral Projection and stuff like that. And then when I played it, I was like, what the hell is this? I was like, okay, what I'm doing is one dimension, and I really want to explore this. So that's when I started exploring things like that, and things like electronic sounds. And I used to go and buy secondhand electronic music magazines and stuff like that, and go through stuff and figure out why, and then that's how I came upon synthesizers, and and now I can't stop collecting them, man. Yeah.
Wow. Cool.
Yeah.
Oh man, look at this. That's what, guys. So I can see myself and you here on the laptop.
Hey, that's
All
awesome.
right. So
All right.
here we go. Right. Cool.
Yeah, you just missed the guitar tour.
Man. All right. So
Yeah.
cool. Anyways, so moving forward, let's
Yes.
talk about. Could you tell us about the number of projects you have and how do you manage all this? I mean, all these years into different projects, and how does it go for you?
I'm very moody when it comes to projects. My friends know that, and my bandmates know that. There's this spark in my head that just comes, and then I'll be like, okay, no, listen, I have to do this. So so that's how I do my projects. And yeah, so I mean, so many projects. Yeah, so I started off with THREINODY for my.
Yes.
I mean, I was playing with this band called Discord in my school, and
Okay.
after I left school and I was in college, I just about joining college. Actually, I joined THREINODY, and I didn't know I was joining THREINODY, and I thought it was auditioning for another band. So you can say I joined THREINODY by mistake. Okay, and yeah, so that was a funny story, and that was THREINODY. And while metal was happening, I was always like doing stuff on the side. I was taking guitars and synthesizers and heading out to nightclubs after finishing jams with the boys in THREINODY, and I was
Right.
there playing electronic music and playing live for them.
Awesome.
And that was like the start of my live move for electronic music, actually. And yeah, it's just the spark that I have in my head. And I love 80s music. That's why I started Tron 1982 with Venki, who's the vocalist
Yes.
of
Yes.
BAJAOW. So I
Yes.
really like Ozric Tentacles and Gong and Hyderia Space Folk and all space rock bands and progressive bands like Rush and Yes and all that stuff. So I started AKASHIC with a bunch of my friends, and I was talking to them for 10 years about it. And then after 10 years, we started. So that's
Wow.
how it is with me. Like, I just take a project and I think I want to do it, and we do it. So yeah.
Cool. So let's talk about THREINODY and how did this happen to you?
Okay. This is the funny story. All right. So I'm in college. I've been
Yes.
bandless for about 2 years from school, and I'm just sitting at home drinking my whiskey and playing my riffs. And I was like, damn, this is heavy, and I want to play in a heavy band. So I get in touch with a friend's cousin brother from college, and he's like, "Hey, dude, there's this band called Abaddon. Do you want to go audition for them? They're looking for a guitar player." And I'm like, "Abaddon?" I'm like, "Yeah, I've seen them on stage, and I've seen them at gigs and stuff, and I have long hair, and they play heavy music." I'm like, "Yeah, okay, fine, let's do that."
Yeah.
So we go to Ganja Park, which is just behind Brigade Road. Like it's still called Ganja Park anyway. There's no
Okay.
ganja the way, in case you're wondering. Insert parental advisory over here. Alright, so we go to this
Right.
park, and that's where I met Siddharth Naidu. And
Oh,
uh, so he's like, "Yeah, man," and then they took me to his jam room, which was on Church Street, and then they're like, "Okay, so what's happening?" He asked me what's happening. I'm like, "Hey, man, I want to play," and then he's like, "Okay." So he's like, "Show me what you can do." So okay, so I pulled out my guitar and pulled out some pedals and started riffing, and then he's like, "Okay, you're hired." I'm like, "Okay, cool." So I'm like, "Okay, let's start making music." Okay, and then we made music, and then I think 2 months after I joined the band officially, we entered like my first ever competition, which was Endless '99, and we won. We came, I think, second
wow.
place. Yeah, we came second. The first was a tie, and
Okay.
yeah, so yeah,
How old were you by then?
I was 16, man. I was 16 when this shit was
Man.
happening. Yeah,
And you were
yeah.
you were into heavy metal and all this thrash metal stuff since an early age.
Right from when I was 8 years old, all I wanted to do was spandex and long hair and leather, and I mean that was my goal. Like, hey, udhar jayega. Like,
Oh,
I have to do that. Like, but obviously I never did that. But the playing and the music really appealed to me, and I focused on that instead of the looks and stuff like that. Yeah, yeah.
cool. So I think there is a video of THREINODY playing back in 2000. I guess that's
Yes.
called an Encomium concert. Um,
Encomium, yeah. Now,
yeah, Encomium.
there's a very cool story about Encomium.
Yes.
Encomium was done with three bands. It was Threnody, Cryptos,
Huh?
and Cryptic. So the
Okay.
reason why we did Encomium was because no one was giving us gigs, bro. So we were like, okay, screw them. We'll get our own money and we'll do the gig ourselves. So yeah, Encomium was a project that these three bands did together.
Wow.
Yeah,
Crazy.
DIY.
I Yeah, that's pretty cool actually. Um, Talking about Encomium concert, I saw that video and you guys are playing Whiplash and you guys are nailing it. And look at that video itself. It looks like somewhere down the line from from early 80s when Slayer is playing Black Magic or Die by the Sword or Heavyweights.
VHS, bro,
Early days.
VHS.
Yeah. There's some feel to the video actually. I love listening to
Yeah,
that
so
particular video
we got this
sometimes, man.
camera guy. We got this camera guy who's like who does weddings and stuff like that. Like, with a big ass camcorder on his shoulder with a VHS tape inside recording and stuff. So yeah, I mean those were the days, man. I mean, and then our drummer Satish, he was belting the kit so hard. You can see the video. Like, there were two people actually holding the drums down so that it doesn't move. Like,
Oh.
so it was good fun, man. It was super fun back in the day.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think you were like 16 or 17 by the time by 2000, and you're nailing
Yeah.
whiplash solos and like wow, man. And
Yes.
when I got into playing concerts at Born by Blood, I got to know THREINODY a little more and started checking out
Right.
a couple of songs. And there was one song that really hooked. I mean, it kind of inspired me to, even the Gothic was formed, but this thrash metal song was like something that pushed personally me a little bit for the Gothic boys as well. I mean, we used to be a big fan of. I mean, still a big fan of THREINODY, and the song
Right.
"Surrender to the Blade" is just like hats off. Seriously,
Yeah,
this
now
is
watch
like
this.
crazy.
Yeah, that song was like really cool. So yeah, it's immortalized on my studio door. There you
Wow.
go. Yeah, cool. So yeah, that was the time when we kind of decided, like, we just took a call and said, okay. So that said, "Hey, Premik, why don't you make a track?" So I said, okay, and then "Surrender to the Blade" came out, and then we all pitched in, and it was good fun.
Let's talk about "Surrender to the Blade" a little more. Who composed this song? Who came up with the primary stuff?
Me.
You?
It was
Was
it
it
was me.
you?
So So yeah, it's like a load reload. Okay, for me, like for the
Wow.
band. So Blade was like a small insight on where I wanted THREINODY to go, because all this time Siddharth was the main guy making all the songs and composing them, and obviously we'd always me and Satish would always come in and add our two bits and kind of complete the whole picture and the situation, uh, compositionally speaking. But then I mean, then I just said, like, I'd like to do something, I'd like to do something different and something more faster, and it's fast and heavier and it's heavy,
Yes. Yes.
and I wanted to take the music in that direction, like, which is speed, not exactly speed metal, but retaining your thrashy borderline genty, but played at the
Right.
speed of thrash is the best way I can describe it, like,
Yeah. I mean, the way the song starts and then the solos. Siddharth had this pretty awesome voice, especially for thrash. It's like he's screeching it out like awesome that is.
Yeah, but
And the
the
solos are
story.
on a different kind
Yeah.
of drum set. I
Yes.
mean the whole, yeah, it's like
Yes.
and then it takes off to a
Yeah.
little faster drum beats, and then the solo just changes, and then it's
Yeah.
killer.
So
And then
I
there's
mean,
this
so
stop.
there's this theme. There's a theme to everything we do, right? There's a story to everything we do. It's not like, I mean, right from the beginning, we were kind of composing music based around a concept and a theme, not like, hey guys, hi, you're my band, four people meeting up, or sorry, we were three-piece, so three people meeting up every day and saying, okay, let's make this take. No, there was like a concrete theme there. There was a story there, and we had to get that emotion across to anyone listening. So Surrender to the
Yeah.
Blade was about some some a very shady surgeon who's lost his license to operate, and now he's operating on you, and you're on the table, and you wake up, like, that's the vibe, you know we
Yeah.
wanted to give you. So yeah.
Evil
So
doctor.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I love that song from any means, man. Like everything is so cool about that song. Anyways,
Super.
yeah. So moving forward, could you recommend us a couple of your favorite albums or any particular artist that people should listen to?
Okay, so I mean, like, the stuff that inspired me, or
Yeah, kind of. And if there's any new album or any new artist you've been listening to, you could
okay,
recommend a
like
couple of them.
general. All right. Okay. Cool.
General, yeah,
So
could
yeah.
be.
So well, I don't like to go too mainstreamish into any genre. So my favorite bands, I'll tell you off the sound that I love them for their sound, is Carcass. Okay, I love Carcass, man. I love Creator. Obviously, number one. I love Germany, basically. So, so some bands like Sodom and stuff like that, and of course all the American side also, like, we have your Megadeth and Metallica and stuff like that. Uh,
Yeah,
that's what I really
Exodus.
yeah, Exodus, dude, Exodus, yeah, it's just a temple over here for them, and yeah,
Wow.
so, like, stuff like that, and I was also listening to a lot of things that really inspired me, was like Fear Factory and stuff.
Yeah.
And I look for other ways also, and take inspiration from people like Rob Zombie and KMFDN and all these industrialist sounding stuff, and integrate that into, playing. I also like the newer kind of stuff that was coming out back then, like the Kills, not exactly fully metalcore, but the sound of Killswitch and bands like that were like really good, nicely produced heavy music.
Wow. Yeah.
So yeah, those are
Cool.
like some of the stuff that I listen to, and Slayer, of course, Pantera. I mean, I'm old school, dude. I mean, I'm old. Forget school.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Definitely.
yeah,
Cool. Let's
yeah.
let's talk about your sound and gears when you're on stage, or if you're recording for any metal project.
So, like, right now or from the beginning?
Yeah, from the beginning, maybe. Yes.
Okay, so not a very good start I had in terms of sound, because it took me a while to learn how to get my sound out, and I focused in to my sound creation a lot. I think that apart from your guitar practice every day, and if you're playing in a band, I think you are equally required to spend time and understand to make your tone, because that's going to set you apart from the next guy. It's your sonic signature. So, I can't emphasize on how important sound design is in any field, be it metal, electronic, any field of music. For you to stand out, you need to really, really work on your sound, and of course, your playing. So
Yes.
for my sound, here's my story. I started off with a multi effects unit called the COG AX300G. All right. I mean, yeah, it was a piece of plastic, and the thing that you saw in encomium was all on the COG. All right,
Okay.
and and after that, I upgraded to a GT5 because I saw one of my favorite guitar players using it, Bruce Lee Money. And we used to hang out a lot. Like, I used to go meet him and talk to him and get advice from him and stuff. And I saw the GT5 and I got myself one of those. And that was my last multi-FX processor, because after that I did a lot of research and I moved on to amplifiers, actually using tube amplifiers, and
Okay.
that's my tone. So I
Wow.
stayed with tube amps a lot. I still swear by them. And then suddenly you're too old and someone makes a modeler. And now I'm using modelers, like, I'm using software modelers. And for THREINODY, I used a lot of software. I used to take my laptop and my sound card and a MIDI pedal, and that was my sound for THREINODY, because I could have my amp impulse response over there and my whatever amp I wanted, actually. So,
Cool. And yeah, the Boss GT1 as well. I mean, thanks for letting me use that.
Boss GT1 is because I'll tell you why Boss GT1 now. I'm actually, in fact, today I just finished my video demo on Boss. I'm a Roland and Boss artist as well, so I did a demo on the GT1000. I did a demo on the Katana mini amp. It's all on YouTube. You can check it out. And the reason why I like the GT1 is, okay, bro. Honestly, I'll tell you, you don't get paid for gigs in this country. Okay, number one. Now, you don't get paid for gigs as much as you should. I'm not going to lug my amplifier all the way to a fandom or wherever. It doesn't matter, wherever the venue is. Okay, and
Yes.
carry. I mean, I have a big enough car that I can put that into and go, but I'm not going to do it because it's not worth it right now. All right, so the small things like the GT1, and I'll show you one more. A couple of my other favorite Kuti ones. I'll show you one second. So yeah, these babies. Check this out. These are the Moore pedals. They're actually two channels of an amplifier inside a pedal with a cab simulator. It's insane that they can shrink it to this. So this is what I use because it's dependable. The tone is great. It sounds great if you take it to the front of house, because I'm lucky enough to have a studio environment where I can set my tones, and whatever I set here comes out clearly to the front of house. So I think for small scale venues and even big scale venues, things like the GT1, the small modelers, and these little pocket devices are brilliant investments.
Right.
Yeah.
I had a very good time using that during the Metallica tribute. I remember back in the jamming days, I, Narayan, Nikhil, Sasank, and Jared, Sandy, we used to jam together, and I didn't know how to use that, and I used to always mess it up. I remember playing Metallica 1, and there's this solo coming up, and I kind of screwed the whole thing up during the jam, and we were like, man, we got to practice this. Let me take the processor home and then check it out, and then we'll be back. And then gradually I got used to it.
Yeah, there is a learning curve, but yeah.
Cool. So, so tell us about the time when you started playing guitars. Was it back in the 90s or was it in the 80s?
It was the late 80s. Yeah, it was the late 80s. So yeah, late
Right,
80s into the 90s. Yeah.
Okay, and how long would you practice at home?
So this
How
is
long
the
would you
this is
spend
the
time?
So this is the thing, like I mentioned, no internet, nothing, just a couple of books. And the book, I still remember that book cover, dude. It was some boy sitting on a fence with an acoustic, and as soon as you open the book, there was no fingering, there was nothing, there was just a bunch of 6-string images and numbers there, and you had to figure it out. And I was like, oh, how do we do this? So yeah, I mean, so I'd practice 2-3 hours in the beginning every day until I saw people playing, and that really helped me learn, okay, that's an A. I'd carry my book and I'd watch people, and I'm like, okay, I'd match their fingers up to the book, and that's how I taught myself, like, and I know it sounds crazy, but that's what pre-internet, pre-internet, old school. Uncle,
Yeah,
I'm an uncle,
self-taught,
uncle.
man. Yeah, cool.
Uncle Premik. Okay, so so that's how it started, and practice was just there, and then theory didn't kick in at all, dude. I mean, that's my biggest regret, is not having a formal education in music, like in terms of theory. Theory kicked in much later, albeit through books, but it kicked in much later, and there was no avenues also for theory then, right? Because I mean, I was
Yes,
very focused on metal and getting that sound out and heavy rock and stuff like that. And
yes.
yeah, so everything, and my practice sessions would be literally 2-3 hours a day initially, and then as I learned more, I was just locked into it. It was 6-7 hours a day in the room, just
Wow.
just my hi-fi, a bunch of CDs, and I just play along with the beats. And I was lucky to have a computer, so I used to chop all the metal songs that didn't have, or the rock songs that didn't have any guitars, and I used to make loops out of that and play over it. Yeah.
Man, that's something. Yeah, I, I mean, in from in Northeast, the internet came later on, and the place
Yeah.
I belong from, I mean, yeah, even I learned a couple of songs using that tape, on
Right.
California solos and stuff like that.
Right.
Rewind,
Right.
forward, stop, pause, those kinds of things. Yeah, right. I mean, you have explored the other, you know, the previous
Yeah.
decade of it as well. So yeah, pretty cool actually.
Good fun.
Awesome. Yeah. Okay, let's talk about your approach towards composing music and designing music. Maybe there should be a
Yeah. So
difference.
designing sound, or just composing music.
Both.
Yeah, for me, anything, whether it's electronic, it's metal, or it's what I'm doing these days, or it's psychedelic, it doesn't matter. So my approach to composition is, I need to have something to talk about. Number one,
Right.
if I don't have anything to talk about, nothing is going to come out musically. I need to have some kind of emotional connect to something, to any topic, and I need to put that out. So my approach to composition is not very fluid. It's basically in pieces. So I feel a lot. I have feelings, emotionally, to topics, and I take those and I stitch them up and see what comes out. And that's the way I compose. Now this is, I just say that, but when it comes to physically doing it, what I do is I get writer's block sometimes. Like, I sit with the guitar and I'm like, oh shit, okay, no, that doesn't sound good. Oh, where do I start from? What do I do? So I keep the guitar down and I go away from the whole composition process, and I
Right.
watch TV, I watch a movie, I watch anime, like, just see how you feel, and find something to talk about and carry that concept forward into sound. So my composition has always been about sound. I mean, I'd love to be those guys who say, "Oh, I had a dream, and in this dream, I heard the sound," and like, I wish that happened to me, but it's not real for me. So, so for me, I take a topic, and with Trinity, it's always been real topics, like real life topics. Survival, existential survival, existence, rebirth, a lot of Hindu mythology in there. That kind of stuff that we talk about through our music. Uh, Same thing with my electronic music. I mean, there is a focused feeling on everything. There is emotion in every single track, and the way it's written around, there's a story. So I think my composition approach is first start with the feeling and then see where the music takes you, and if you can complete the story and go back home, land back home.
Cool. So, talking about the guitar players and guitarists, what do you think are the most important aspects that a guitarist should look for?
I think the same two or three things that I emphasized on before. Practice your craft really well. uh, Put your head down and do your work. Like, just be cool about it and just do your work, because your work will show in the end. And spend a lot of
Yes.
time listening to different music. That's what really helped me. Don't be narrow faced, or like, narrow minded about one particular genre. See what you can
Right.
experience emotionally and musically with different genres, and try to incorporate them, even if it doesn't gel with each other. I mean, if you listen to Akashik, that was it, right? I mean, that was me taking my psychedelics into metal and rock and progressive. So It's like having Rush at a rave party. I mean, that's what Akashic is. So, that's the way I would ask anyone to approach the instrument, is to widen your horizon and pay attention to sound design and also self-discipline and practice.
Cool. So let's talk about the early days of rock and metal in Bangalore in India.
Oh, it's the best.
If you could tell us some of the most fun gigs you've been involved in or you went to see.
Dude, yeah, for sure, man. I mean, like, before I joined THREINODY and stuff, and I used to go to NLS and all. I was a kid, dude. I was like, what, 10th standard or 9th standard or something. And I used to go to NLS and I saw Moksha play there and they were bloody awesome. And I saw this other band who was really funny called Nightmare on Mysore Road. I mean, that's what they were called. And yeah, there's like so many guys. And I saw Crimson Storm. I saw Gangama's Pleasure. And I mean, like, the scene back then was brilliant for live music. I mean, and the best part was Bangalore was at the heart of everything, right? So Bangalore was the capital for, and probably still is, apart from the shitty laws that are there right now. But yeah, so back then it was just so, the atmosphere was electric, like, it was fully electric. Like, when you were there at a concert, you almost feel like you're on stage playing. It was that cool. And you knew everybody over there because there was this gang who used to go to concerts, and there was this set of people, and then that started growing, and it was a brilliant time all the way up to, I think, 2004 2005. The scene was incredible.
Wow, cool. So we are almost at the end of this particular show now.
Oh,
and yeah, I mean, did you realize that it's already gone? Like, the time already flies off anyways.
Yeah.
So, well, let's jam a little bit and maybe we can say goodbye to all.
Sure, definitely.
Cool. Yeah.
All right.
Has the lockdown been productive for you as well?
Oh, super productive, man. Super productive. I've been doing so much. I'm starting a new gent band.
Oh, yeah. You were saying that your guitar is dropped down to B tuning.
No, A. Drop A.
Drop A.
Drop A on the baritone, so that's okay. All right. So, you start. Come on.
All right, here we go.
I don't know if you can hear this. I don't know if it's coming out clean. I just changed my settings.
Okay. It's good enough.
Oh shit, I'm going to take you to Japan now. There's smoke coming. There's smoke coming off the fretboard. Too heavy.
Yeah.
Too heavy. Too heavy. Face melted, bro. Face melted. Nice done.
Killer. This was amazing. I had a lot of fun. I guess, I can see myself here. I mean, I can see both of us here on the laptop on the right hand side, but
yeah,
it's just that it kind of, it has a little latency. So when you when you kind of showing something, I have to wait for like 15 seconds to really okay. That's what he's showing. All right. Anyways, this was a fun session, man. This was crazy.
Super.
Wow.
Super. Thank you so much for having me.
Awesome. This is an honor for it's an honor to me as well. I mean, wow, this is
awesome,
crazy.
bro. Anytime.
Just that maybe I'll have to do a check again, or maybe a particular with the fake account. You know what it is. So let's see.
Done. Definitely.
So let's see if,
super.
Let's see if I can get other episodes, properly. Anyways,
super.
I hope we can see both of us in the IGTV after I end this up. Once I save this off. And,
super.
Wow, this has been crazy, and we talked about so many things from your early days, rock and roll, metal, and stuff like that. 16 to 17 years old, and you're shredding all the way. 2000 THREINODY concert, Whiplash, this and that, and then electronic stuff. Wow, all the best to everything that you're doing, sir.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Wow, this is crazy. Anyways, stay safe, and I had a great time. I hope everyone had a great time.
You too. Thank you so much, Eddie. Super.
This is super. We should meet up and jam again. Let's see if everything is flexible again.
Definitely.
Cool.
Awesome.
To all the viewers out there, thank you so much for joining in, guys. Nirmal, Inukun, Parul, Mr. Hendrickson, and so many of you. Wow, this is crazy. Arsnoy, sorry. Wow, great. Well, bye to everyone. Good night to everyone, and good night to you too, bro.
Bye-bye. See you guys.
Bye. See you.
Bye.
Bye.